All right.
Hello and welcome everyone to our Spooktacular Halloween event. Whether you're joining us live here on Zoom or streaming in from the Transform 2022 page, we welcome you and we're thankful that you've taken a few moments of your evening to spend with us. My name is Amy Hopkins and I'm an affiliate with the Juice Plus company. Juice Plus is a global health food company that specializes in functional food that can transform the physiology of our bodies through daily plant food support. And for over 20 years, the Juice Plus company has been empowering families to make meaningful changes with this daily plant food support and has changed the health trajectory of many kids and families, including my own. So tonight, we're going to talk about how spooky it is what we're feeding our kids and what a great time of year to bring this up, right? So I'm going to introduce our speaker tonight, Judy Strickler, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. Her and her husband, Daryl, became affiliates with this global health food company about 25 years ago, and they credit them with much of her success. Judy retired from nursing after working in multiple specialties to be a stay-at-home mom and became a nationally recognized nutrition speaker. She encourages families to understand the power of whole food plant nutrition, along with a healthy lifestyle, providing families with a life of happiness, health, and vitality. And she and her husband, Daryl, have been married for 45 years. They have 4 married children with 7.5 precious grandchildren. Judy's motto is, serve him by serving others. And I love that. And so, Judy, I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you so much, Amy. I appreciate it. And so it begins. The continuation of the slow progressive damage to our children's health. This weekend is not a treat, but it's a dangerous trick, an assault on American families, especially our precious children. You see, adults are more concerned during the holidays about the 10 or 15 pounds they might gain, but they also help their children to be filled up with all kinds of treats and candies and desserts daily. So it starts at Halloween, then Thanksgiving, of course, then Christmas, then New Year's, then Mardi Gras, then Easter, on and on and on. We celebrate, every celebration is done with some kind of toxic food. I don't know why that happens. So our children don't get sick, by the way, from cold weather. They get sick from processed food. Sugar, fats, chips, ice cream, burgers, pizzas, caffeine, chemicals, on and on. That's what we're feeding our kids. We just need to stop the food poisoning and the food addiction. You see, those foods are addicting just like sugar or cocaine. We thrive on fruits and vegetables and beans and legumes and whole grains. After all, every food made by God has all the nutrients that we need to be well. This is called functional food. That's why he made it, to keep us well. Well, thank you for caring enough to join us tonight and think about your future. I'm going to show you how to stay healthy and obtain top performance. You see, I started on a farm in Kansas a long time ago. I knew what it was to grow your own food and eat the food that you needed to stay well. We made our own food. We preserved it. But as I went to nursing school, I was dismayed to find out I wasn't there to teach people how to eat food to stay well. It was all about drugs and chemotherapy and surgery and on and on and on. So after 25 years, I found Juice Plus. Juice Plus found me, and it gave me a door to leave my nursing career. And I've been so happy since. So now I can tell people what it takes to stay well. You know, in the beginning, God made our food, but how come we're all eating man's food? Why are we eating food from the factory instead of the farm? Because that's what we're doing. So families have many health challenges. They have health challenges like diet, water, exercise, sleep, quiet time. After all, the 7 medicines that will make you well are, of course, food, whole natural plant food, of course, play, exercise. I mean, it's play, right? We should have fun at it. Rest, sleep. What about the sunshine, going in sunshine and being in nature? What about love? That'll help keep you well, right? Gratitude, being thankful for what you have. Dr. Joel Fuhrman is a doctor in New Jersey, and he said childhood diets create adult cancer. That's pretty scary because you see, children don't have a driver's license and they don't have a credit card and they cannot go to the store by themselves and buy food. We are bringing that to them. Health is normal. The human body is self-repairing, self-defending, and self-healing marvel. The symptom of the disease, listen to this, the symptom of the disease is not the disease itself, but the body's effort to rid itself of that disease. That means that when you're vomiting, you have diarrhea, whatever's going on, a fever, that's not a disease. That's the body trying to heal itself. Many kids are not just ill, but they're lonely, they're bored, they're stressed. They don't have time for creativity because they're always on their electronics, And so also, what about vaccines? Maybe there's too many too often, but you're the parent. You can decide when that's to be done, how much is supposed to be done. If you want to do it, that's your choice. Be the parent. I'm afraid that sometimes we care more about our grades, their grades in sports, and even their pets than we do about them. That's pretty scary. Children are more harmed, Dr. David Katz said, by poor nutrition and tobacco and drugs and alcohol combined. More harmed by poor nutrition than imagine combining tobacco, drugs, and alcohol. Our kids are our future. We have to think about what we're feeding them and how we're treating them. This is a first generation of children that will not outlive their parents. And if kids keep eating the way they're eating, heart attacks will be pretty common, Dr. Katz said, by the time they're 16 and 17. That's happening right now. We've got to reverse this, and we can. So we first of all need to avoid using food as a comfort, reward, or punishment. How many times have you said, if you eat your vegetables, I'll give you some ice cream? That means vegetables are bad and ice cream is good because they like ice cream. So we put that stuff in their head by talking like that. But that sucker and that ice cream cone, as they grow older, is now their scotch and cigarette. We taught them if they do something good, they can reward themselves with some poison or whatever they want, right? Dr. Michael Pollan says that in his book, In Defense of Food, he said, it's so simple. Just eat food, not too much, mostly plants. Pretty simple. Well, we used to eat roots and fruits, greens and beans, seeds and weeds, right, Jerry? That's what we used to eat. But now what do we eat? Meats and sweets, pies and fries, cakes and shakes, chips and dips. Wow, we did go from God-made food to man-made food. And God's food makes our body alkaline so we cannot get sick. And all of that meats and sweets and all that man-made food causes our body to become acidic. And that causes dis-ease in our body. So we can reverse that. It's very simple. We must realize that the years of filling our guts with pleasure foods to relieve the pain will only cause us a whole new pain, the pain of having to lose that weight or having to recover from the toxicity caused by those years of junk food and bad habits. That's what our children are going to have to pay for. They're going to have to pay in that way. The path of disease all starts with stress, whether it's mental, emotional, or physical. It all starts with some type of stress. And my stress is, where did the word snacks and treats even come from? We didn't have that when I grew up. We had breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or breakfast, dinner, and supper. That's what we had. Now, Dr. Sears, Bill Sears, a very well-known pediatrician, recommends that when the kids are little, they can graze. To have a graze on a nibble tray, like a muffin tin with all kinds of good fruits and vegetables and maybe some cooked beans and maybe, different things like that. So they can just snack all day long so they don't need junk like goldfish. So the three most common foods that we eat nowadays are coffee, hot dogs, and white bread. I don't call that food. The three most common veggies we eat, French fries, iceberg lettuce, and ketchup. Now, I talked to an iceberg lettuce farmer from New Mexico one time many years ago and asked him how many times that lettuce was sprayed. He said 18 times it's sprayed with chemicals before it comes to the grocery store. Doesn't that make you want to get a terrace garden and grow your own lettuce? It's so easy. It's in my house. It's growing. Right, Amy? Do it yourself. Yes, then you don't have to worry about it. So the food you eat should always contain fiber and water. Just that simple. Fiber and water. If the food contains fiber and water, go ahead and eat it. Foods you want to try to avoid are animal products, including dairy and eggs, but a lot of the meat is full of antibiotics, steroids, and hormones. You might, if you like to eat meat, you might consider trying to find clean fish or some organic farm-raised chicken or turkey, something like that once in a while, but use meat as a flavoring, not as the main course. We also have to avoid The SOFAs, that's an easy way to remember. Sugar, oils, flour, alcohol, and salt. Because oil is not a food, remember that. We don't lack olive oil. We don't have a deficiency of olive oil. If you want olive oil, eat the olive. If you want avocado oil, eat the avocado. Eat the whole food as much as possible. And salt, table salt is very harmful. It only has 2 elements in it, right? Sodium chloride. If you'll eat Celtic salt, real salt, Himalayan salt, it has 82 to 96 minerals in it. That's what we need. We need minerals. Processed food is full of empty calories, all kinds of chemicals, all kinds of additives, coloring and flavoring. I've never planted those in my garden. I don't think they would grow. High fructose corn syrup causes your brain to say, I'm not full. It makes you want to eat more and more and more. Hydrogenated oil, trans fats, all of that stuff is so harmful for your body. Also caffeine. We have to remember the kids grow up, they just built a new junior high here in town and they have a coffee bar in a junior high. What are we thinking? And it goes on to college and then that coffee ain't going to be good enough. It's going to need alcohol to get a little more stimulated, maybe drugs after that, right? It's just a progression. We eat for only 3 reasons: distraction, recreation, or escape. Very few of us say, I need some fuel. I need to eat. My body needs some fuel. And what about the portion size we get today? You can go to the restaurant, you can share a meal with your spouse, you can take enough food home to last you all week long. And childhood obesity starts with those large portions they don't know because their parents have taught them to clean the plate. And school lunches, please, that's nothing but fast food. What is the role that food plays in overall wellness? Well, it supplies nutrition to our body, and it's supposed to help it cleanse and rebuild itself, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritual. So what do you eat? What is there to eat? Whole plant food. But let's think about how we eat it. You cook it most of the time. Do you cook your seeds before you plant them? No, because they wouldn't grow, they're dead, right? So why do you cook all your food? How about the microwave? It does a real number on your food. You don't need that either. You got a pan, put it on your stove and heat it up. How about if you fed pasteurized milk to a baby calf, they would be dead in a couple of weeks. It's got to be real food, okay? The Pottinger cat study. I don't know how many people remember the Pottinger cat study. He studied 900 cats. This was in 1930, and it took him 10 years. And what he found out was that the generations, he had 2 groups that got raw milk and raw meat, and the last 3 groups got processed food or milk. He found out the first generation got sick at the end of their life. The second generation of cats got sick in the middle. The third generation got sick in the beginning of their life. And there weren't very many 4th generation cats because they couldn't get pregnant. Does that sound a lot like what's going on today with us? Wow. Well, the micronutrients, protein, carbohydrates, and fats are all in the food that got made. It's all in there. And people look at you and you're eating plants, you're like, how do you get your protein? That's the silliest question I've ever heard, because there's never been a case of protein deficiency in the world unless people had 0 food. Never. We eat way too much protein. We don't need that much protein. And it's already in all your food, and it's in the right balance of protein, carbohydrates, and fats. Well, what about micronutrients? We do need those. We need phytonutrients, right? We need, like, this is just a picture of all the nutrients that are in an apple. Over 12,000. Over 12,000. So eat the apple. Don't take the vitamin C, eat the apple. Okay, let's think about enzymes. That's the light switch. So your food has to be alive to make the food you eat work. That's the switch that turns on the nutrients in your body. So you have to have some live food with your cooked food when you're eating. Also, antioxidants. Think of antioxidants as a raincoat that covers your cells and protects them from harm that might be coming in. And then, of course, fiber is king. You got to have fiber. It helps your microbiome in your stomach, which microbiome connected to your brain. Of course, we know that, but it also cleans out your colon. It takes care of the elimination things. So what about home cooked meals? We don't have many of those. Let's look at some statistics of children, how sick they are. 1 in 3 born in 2000. This is 2020, 22. will develop diabetes. 1 in 4 children will be obese. 1 in 4. 50% of all obese adolescents are obese adults. 7% of all school-age children are diagnosed with some kind of problem like ADHD or autism or ADD. We can help all of this. We can do something about it. Let's cook our meals at home from scratch and go shopping with your kids. Help them pick out 5 of their favorite fruits, 5 of their favorite veggies, and give those to them. And then go on to find a couple more. Make it a game for them. You can do lots of games to teach your children to eat better. And then you teach your children to grow their own food. Let them put some seeds in a pot or in the ground or in the tower garden. They'll eat them so much more. You know, it's not just the little kids that we're talking about. We're talking about the big kids. Because when they go to college, oh my goodness, we don't want to talk about what they're eating there because they think ramen noodles are really cheap, but they're really dangerous, you know? So if they learn from childhood what good food is, they will carry that with them. So let's think about this. Do we want to go shopping and get all the 5 whites that we should never eat, like this shopping cart has? Probably not. Or do we want to get all of this junk that kids eat all the time? Here's my hamburger. It's 25 years old. Whoops. And here's one that I bought several months ago. It'll last forever. My French fries are also 25 years old. So what are we going to do? What's going to take care of this? Well, Juice Plus to me was the answer that gave me peace of mind for my family when I heard about it, because I knew that when they left home or they weren't with me, and even when they're with me, they may not eat everything that I make. So what happened we thought, well, why didn't somebody take those fruits and vegetables and put them in a capsule? So I did, but I couldn't swallow it. It was way too big. Thank goodness Juice Plus put them in a capsule that I could swallow. You see, Juice Plus bridges the gap between what we do eat and what we should eat. Every man, woman, and child in the country has a gap. Some of us have big gaps, some of us small gaps. But that gap is why we're sick. So when we bridge that gap, it protects us against disease and illness. It's peace of mind, and it is priceless for me. Knowing that my 4 children and their spouses and all the grandchildren have been on Juice Plus for years is so reassuring to me. You see, Juice Plus is just plant powders. That's all it is. And we have lots of research. And if you would like to see some of that research, talk to the person who brought you tonight, because we have so much we can send you and you can listen to. But it helps circulation, the immune system, antioxidant capacity, damaged DNA. It repairs that, reduces damaged DNA, on and on and on. So there's no medicine or vitamin in the world, any place that can make that promise. You see, the news isn't that fruits and vegetables are good for you. It's that they're so good for you, they could even save your life. It's not about being an athlete for 10 or 20 years, right, Pamelia? It's about being an athlete for the rest of your life. The right fuel in your body will help you live a full life when you are 100 years old. That's what it's going to take. Just plant food. Thank you.
Wow, Judy, we appreciate you so much. I personally needed to hear this tonight. This is so informative and inspiring and encouraging and spooky. All of the things. Y'all, before we go, we're going to hear from 2 mamas real quick. I want to introduce Paula, and Paula, I'll let you take it away. Paula, are you with us? If Paula,
she just needs to unmute herself.
Oh, hey, I'm sorry. I hit a little button and I was trying to do a background. Anyway, I want to thank everybody that's on here. I'm so excited to be here, and I love when Judy talks. I get so excited and inspired. And I just wanted to just briefly share my kids' story and about how the Healthy Starts has actually helped them. But just to back it up a little bit, my kids' health story actually started before they were born. And I want to praise God first, but also nutrition played a major role back before I could have kids. because I kept having miscarriages. So it changed everything. And I then was blessed with two amazing kids that are now 21, and my youngest is 16. So what actually happened is, after talking to a nurse over 20 something years ago, she had talked to me about nutrition, and she told me the importance of plant powder. And so I decided to take a whole new approach and have plants be a major part of my diet. And what happened is like, when I did get pregnant, I actually did go ahead and double up on my plant powders. Again, I was focusing on plants first daily, just everything I could do to help with nutrition. They actually thrived. Both kids thrived when they were young. And then I made a very bad decision. I decided, okay, I'm going to stop Juice Plus. I thought at the time I couldn't afford it. I thought that, I thought we were good because I had my kids, and it was such a bad decision, because over time I started noticing different things with my kids. We started visiting the doctor a lot more than what I'd ever seen before. My son developed allergies at that point, again, after time. There was so many things that just started happening that I wasn't used to, because they were thriving when they were younger. And so what ended up happening is, all these things put together, I'll just tell you, it was an inconvenience to them, but it was also an inconvenience to me. And I hadn't realized it. And that was also during the time when my kids were involved in sports when they were younger. And then later, my son was diagnosed with dyslexia. So after all this, I thought, what can I do? So I went back to the basics and thought, okay, food first approach. And I decided to be proactive on the health, because I knew how important it was to my kids. And I knew it was as important part as me with my nutrition when I was pregnant. So after consistency, let me share about my Juice Plus babies. So my daughter, she totally thrived in soccer, as well as in setting state and national records, like as a runner during her high school years. She is now in a D1 college. She's a runner, full scholarship. So performance is a major issue, the sports performance. She also had great performance in school. And so we realized that what you put into your body does fuel you. So after all this consistency, people kept asking me, what are you doing? And I knew what was going on. I knew that it was the health. It was fueling the body correctly. It was a little thing that over time, with consistency, shows up in her performance, and it does every day. And just to briefly discuss about my son, it helped him cope better with all the allergies. His performance, not only on the soccer field, but also in the running. He also runs, but also helping his father in big mowing jobs. It's amazing what no tears coming out of your eyes because of the allergies, having to blow your nose constantly, the headaches that he would get. I mean, he would break out. Guess what? The performance changed, and it wasn't overnight. It was with the consistency with that Juice Plus. And I know for a fact that the capsules, the gummies, the shakes, as well as the plant-based omegas, I mean, it has made a complete difference in his sports performance. And just to brag for a moment, with the performance in the school with his dyslexia, he is beyond what I even envisioned with it. And I actually give him extra omegas, the plant omegas, as well as my husband and I, just to keep that maintenance, because I know the power that the plant powders have. And he has done A's and B's, such great over in his school performance, not only in the AP classes, pre-AP, and all that. I could not be any more proud of what that can be. And I can tell you again, from a mama's perspective, It is a win-win, great decision that the Healthy Starts for Family is offered. It's the best deal for nutrition if you can keep it consistent in your kids. It's a win-win. Thank you.
Paula, yes, thank you. That is what we're talking about. Daily consistency, plant food support. Absolutely. Let's hear from one more mom, Miss Sonia. We'll love to hear from you.
Hello, everyone. Well, I promise to be quick. As Amy said, my name is Sonia, and I am a certified yoga instructor and a full-time mom to 3 healthy kids, very athletic kids, and 2 doggies. So my story started when I traded in my full-time job and became a full-time mom. And I didn't realize that it wasn't normal to be going to the doctors all the time for sicknesses and ear infections and this cough and this cold. And I said I have 3, they're teenagers now, but I had a 2-year-old and then I had twins. So I was exhausted and stressed out, and I didn't know what I didn't know. But it wasn't until years later, until we had a health scare and we heard the words cancer in our family. And that was my real wake-up call. And then I decided I need to make some changes and I need to start acting like the CEO of my family's health. And I did. And I started researching, I started understanding the power of food. And like Judy said, food could be the best weapon, or it could be the best, powerful, good weapon or a bad weapon. So it depends on the choices you make. And as Paula said, it's a daily habit. So when my best friend shared, after my son was in recovery, just an easy, affordable way, as we all said, to get this daily plant food support in our systems, I said yes, because it made sense. And honestly, as a mom, I didn't know any other way to get consistent fruits and veggies in that quantity, 30 on a daily basis. So we started with the gummies and now we're on the capsules. And it's the Healthy Starts for Families program. What that is it's so affordable because for my husband and I to be on, we could then sponsor one of our children for free. And then like my mother could get on and sponsor my 3rd child for free. So it became such an affordable way to just invest in our health. And, we went from being antibiotic of the month club to only seeing doctors for well visits. And, when something like cancer rocks your world as a mom, you really start making changes because you do not want to have to go through that again. And it just really not only helped me invest in my kids, but helped me realize what I was doing as a mom. Like, what example am I setting for myself? I'm not having my wine at the end of the day because I had a stressful day. I said I'm a yoga instructor. So there are other ways that we need to teach our children about, wellness is also getting enough sleep and drinking water and not sports drinks. We don't keep the Gatorade in our house. We don't drink that stuff. You can have electrolyte tablets. You can drink coconut water. So there's so many choices, healthier choices out there. I want to encourage you all. But I want to just say that investing in our family's health was the best decision that I could make as the CEO. And I just love sharing this health because you really have an impact on someone's life. You never know. And though we don't make medical claims, these are just our stories. I got my youngest, who was on daily antibiotics, inhalers, nebulizers, always getting the Croup, he has no issues. So it's just the making a decision. As moms, we are typically the ones who are in charge of the grocery shopping and the decisions for the kids. Not all of us, but some dads also participate. But I just want to encourage you moms that you do not need a doctor to tell you what to do. We know what to do. We know we all need to have more fruits and vegetables in our diet. And this is just such an easy button. So as a parent, I really don't know any greater blessing than having my kids thriving and healthy these days and eating their fruits and vegetables.
Yes, Sonia, thank you for explaining that and for sharing your story. And Paula, we are so encouraged by y'all and how incredible we went from things being spooky to things being better. And, Juice Plus has been using the Healthy Starts for Families program for over 20 years and have given away millions of dollars of free product to kids for an adult sponsor, as Sonia has said. And it's a 2-for-1. And I'm so thankful for it. I have 4 kids and we've been on it for 5 years, and we were the Antibiotic of the Month Club right there along with Sonia. So, this consistency, being in charge of our health trajectory is so vital. And that's what I've heard tonight. I've heard so much, and I hope you had your pen out. And, we'll just, it just blew my hair back listening to all the things that Judy mentioned tonight. And, we need to take charge as the CEOs of our family's health care and do it. And so we are so thankful you joined us tonight, and we hope we brought value to your night, and we encourage you to get back with the person who invited you. If you're not part of our Transform 2022 Facebook page, we encourage you to get linked up there. We're adding a lot of content, and you can find this recording and watch it again and again. And so with that, we'll wrap up and we'll say good night, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you. Thanks.